Good afternoon, Karen Bonafilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys. Welcome to the show. We have someone on the show that you may recognize. It's Michael Christopher. Michael, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hello, and thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. Um, anyway, Michael has a lot going on in his life, and I'm going to let him tell you his story first before we start finding out the nitty gritty. So, Michael, what would you like us to know about you?
Oh my goodness. I always freeze up when someone asks me to talk about myself because I never know where to start. It's such a long story, but I guess I'll just try to stay linear in my story. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm kind of checking in with my guides. I'm like, where should I start? So I'm immediately taken to where
Okay.
um so my abilities, I'll start there. It didn't start for me till I was 45. Okay, so I'm not one of those people that were aware of things, had experiences growing up. None of that.
Okay.
Mediumship was like the farthest thing from my mind throughout my life. Um, but
So
then
you hadn't been introduced to it at all.
oh no, oh
Okay.
no, nothing, nothing. Um, so I kind of go back, I look back through time and I can see the path that was being laid out, ahead of me now looking back. But I'll have to start where, my first really significant loss in my life in my life was, my brother Jason. So back in 97, he passed away at 26 from complications, cystic fibrosis. And that was like the first time that I really experienced loss of a peer, and it was just kind of like it just hit me like it does anyone, when
That's a
you
huge loss.
yeah.
Mm.
um and then, so they were my stepbrothers. There was Jason and then Danny. So they both had cystic fibrosis.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'll try to keep this going and because it's such a long story. But between the two of them, so Jason was on a transplant list. Unfortunately, he became too ill, and they had to take him off the list because at that point he wouldn't have survived the surgery.
Oh,
Um, so that was 97. 2000, I get diagnosed with kidney disease out of nowhere. I mean, it literally, I was halfway through my Air Force time. I spent 20 years in the Air Force, and I literally went in to get a physical because I wanted to start flying planes. And I was like, okay, should be in and out. No, I go in, they find something. They're like, you need to have this checked because it could be
wow.
something serious. Well, it ended up being really serious.
Oh no.
Um, and I can say that was probably the first significant step in maybe looking towards what's what is there to this life? Is there more beyond this? Because when you get diagnosed with a chronic illness, it changes your perception about literally everything.
Really? So
Um,
that was a catalyst
oh
when
yeah,
all of a sudden you're facing mortality?
yeah, yeah, and
Wow.
that was hard because I just remember having to make the decision right then and there. After the dust settled and it kind of, that was my new reality. I was like, how am I going to handle this? We always hear people say, live in the moment, don't worry about tomorrow. All you have is right now. Live in the moment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you hear those words and it's like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I literally had to adopt that mindset
What did you
and I made the decision right then and there. I was like, I can sit and worry about this every moment until something eventually happens, or I can just check in with myself and how am I doing today? And literally, I had to force myself to start doing that every day because I was fine physically. I was fine still. It wasn't affecting me, at all.
you felt fine.
Yeah. So it was just something was there, something that was eventually going to happen because it was very progressed at that point, even though, I still felt fine. So again, long story short, I just had to like anytime I had those dark feelings or thoughts, I just had to step back and just put myself in the moment. It's like, hey, everything's good right now. It's all that matters. And I just had to keep doing that.
Was that hard to do?
Oh God, yes. I don't want to make it, sound like it was easy. It was not. It's just one of those things that I just had to do it to keep my sanity because
Oh, Yep.
I mean, it could deflate any motivation towards anything. I mean, you
Mhm.
have the mindset, why bother doing this? Because, well, I'm going to pass away because of kidney failure at some point. So what's the point
Were you in need of a kidney transplant also? No?
at that point? Um, they don't put you on the list until your kidney functions less than 20%.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So, they were still functioning. It was just
Mhm.
that they were severely damaged, but they were still working.
Okay.
Um, so that was a big. Again, I'm going to condense this because I can drag this out forever. But 2001, my brother Danny actually went through a double lung transplant because he fell ill, and so he had the transplant.
Oh my
Went through it fine. So that was 2001.
Michael, my
Yeah.
goodness.
Oh yeah, it the fun doesn't end there. 5 years later, his lungs rejected because with any transplant, there's the rejection. It can always happen. It's just part of the fun
Five
of this.
years.
So luckily, Pittsburgh Hospital took him on to do another one. Usually, they will not do a second one because the chances of survival are like less than 30%, but they did. So we went through another one. Came out of that fine.
Good.
So that was around, that was probably, yeah, 5 years later. So I'll keep going forward. So 2009, I retired from the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
2010, my kidneys retired. So almost exactly a year later, my kidneys started really going downhill. And
Uh-oh.
yeah, so I had to start.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
And it
kind
was
of want to
weird.
be on their insurance in the military at that time.
A good thing I had it. Um,
Yeah.
But so, that happened. I had to start dialysis. And that was another turning point, too, for me, because even though I lived with this now for almost 10 years, it was like day one all over because now it just got real. And
Yeah.
now it was like I had to face it because, like,
Because you had to
they're
treat it.
they're done. They're
You had
done.
to treat it. Yeah.
And I remember going into the office after they had my labs, and they were telling me it's time, we need to get you listed and start the process. And I was like, huh. I remember I got in my truck and I drove for like hours, probably 2 or 3 hours, just trying to just sort things out again. And I come home and told my wife, but at the same time I told her, I said, I don't want to go through this. I said, I'm done. I said,
Oh,
I don't even want to think about dialysis. I don't want to think about, I'm done. I don't want to go through this.
wow, Michael.
And it's weird when you face something like that because at that moment, it was more frightening to go through it and wait and go through dialysis. I didn't want any part of it. I'm like, I'm just done. I'm checking out.
How did your wife feel about that?
Well, she didn't like it, but she supported it. She knew.
Okay.
She was like, this is my decision. Um,
Hmm.
and it was probably about a day or two later. And I'm almost certain it was my brother Jason that I was feeling. It was like because I just had this complete 180, and I was like, I remembered he didn't even have an option. When your lungs quit, there's no option. At least with kidney failure, you have dialysis to keep you going until
Right.
hopefully
Yes.
you get a transplant.
Hmm.
So I told my wife, I was like, okay, I'll give it 1 year. I
Oh,
said, I will do this. I will go through dialysis, but if I don't have a transplant in a year, I'm done because I'm not going to live on a machine. So one of my other brothers tested. He tested positive for a match. So advancing till September of that year, 2010, we were 2 weeks away from the surgery. He gets a staph infection, which turns MRSA. They canceled the surgery because he was no longer eligible. So I'm like, there's another block in the road. I'm like,
so
well,
that was a kidney for you that he was going to.
yeah,
Oh,
yep, yep. So there I am again and again, I was just in that mindset of just, it's out of my hands. I'm still doing good. Even though I'm on dialysis, I still felt good.
and
Keep going.
do you still have that in your mind? Take one day at a time, live for
Oh,
the moment.
absolutely.
Okay, still doing that. All
Oh
right.
yeah, and I'm sure anybody that's gone through this, you eventually get to that point where you have to have that mindset of tomorrow doesn't matter. Tomorrow's not here. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter, you know. So again, there was so many lessons that I've learned throughout everything that I've been through, and this is one of them. It's like I literally people ask me to plan things. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't. I'm like, I'm so in the moment. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, 2 weeks after my brother was pulled from the surgery, I had an Air Force buddy reach out to me, and he was asking questions. And I was like, you know, why you asked? And he's like, well, I want to donate. And I was like, really? You know, it just came out of nowhere. Long story short, he was still active duty. I was like, I've been in the Air Force. This process is going to take forever. Long story short, it wasn't. He ended up being a perfect match.
Good.
In December of 2010, I had my surgery. So he donated a kidney, and it's been over 15 years now. So
Wow,
you
that's
know,
great.
yeah.
So no dialysis. You're fine now.
Oh
I guess.
yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
been good. Knock on wood. So again, that's 2010. 2012 comes around, and my brother Danny again starts to go downhill. His kidneys start failing because the
Wow.
medication we take for the rejection, anti-rejection, is very toxic, and it
Oh,
just overwhelmed his body, and kidneys failed. So now he's on dialysis.
now was he the one with the lung cell?
So he's had 2 double lung transplants at this point, and now his kidneys failed.
This poor man.
I was like, I remember having conversations with him. I'm
Oh
like, I
my
don't know how you
God.
do it. I don't know how you do it.
No.
I said, this was a one-time deal. I will not go through this again. I've told my wife this. This is like I could not mentally do this again. And but he had a young daughter, young family. So I'm like, I get it, but oh my God, dude, how?
I
But
understand. Yeah, I understand.
yeah. But unfortunately, he ended up developing lymphoma cancer in his lungs, and then
Wow.
he ended up
Wow.
passing away January of 2012. He was 42 at the
Such a
time.
tragedy.
Yep. Doesn't end there. 3 years after that, I get a call one day from my mother at work, and she's like, "Your sister was stabbed." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What?"
Michael.
Yeah. It's like, what is going on? But so my sister Jackie, my youngest sister,
Wow.
she was in her barber shop. She was a barber. She was alone in the shop on a Friday afternoon. Someone come in to rob the place and ended up stabbing her. And 2 days later, she was removed from life support. She was 32 years old. And I was just like, what? You can't make this stuff up.
I just cannot believe what your family has gone through.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It really is. And it's heavy duty hardcore stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, all those events kind of pushed me towards this because I got to go back to when I got sick, because around 2000, me and my wife both discovered John Edward on TV.
Oh, beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
So that was another thing that was important,
Mhm.
important part of this, because watching John, that was my first ever like exposure to a medium.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember the sense of well-being and relief it gave me, knowing that, all right, I'm considering now there's a possibility that there's more beyond this world. So I can remember thinking how that helped me, just knowing that if things didn't work out, and again, after losing Jason, that it just puts that spark in the back of your mind that there's got to be more. I just always had that feeling there's got to be more. So,
May I ask a question?
sure.
Did you grow up in a church or anything like
Oh yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
the type of church you grew up in, did they embrace spirituality or was it no? Okay.
I grew up Roman Catholic, which is like,
Oh.
yeah,
Okay. Now you don't have to
everything
explain anymore.
you're going to burn for everything you do. And again, this is my
Oh.
perception, my reality. But when I graduated high school, I left religion behind as well, because I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And again, this is my own personal journey and my personal opinion, but I was like, I don't believe any of that.
Okay. No, that's
So
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's where I just started having my own thoughts about what I believed, and and the further through all of this, again, I wasn't thinking I'm going to be a medium someday. That was nowhere in my perception.
But I just commend you on always moving forward and forward thinking too.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody could have got that diagnosis and just completely given up
oh,
too.
I had that thought of, I did have that thought, I was just, and those dark times,
Hmm.
it's again, it's just checking in with yourself. And I mean, there's so much to it. I mean, I could probably write 3 or 4 books about just everything I've gone through in my mind. That was the hardest part. I got to say this. The physical side of about being ill,
Hmm.
that was easy. The mental side was the hardest thing I've ever been through. There's just so much that unless you've gone through it personally, you have no idea what somebody is dealing with when they're going through something that can affect your life in that way.
Right.
So, it makes you stronger. That goes without saying. The things that you get upset about aren't worth getting upset about anymore. So it's
Right.
the person I am today compared to even when I was in the Air Force is completely different.
You
I
don't
was a
sweat
bona
it.
fide just prick. I mean, if you want to say it, I was a fucking prick. Excuse my language.
It's
um,
okay. I have no problems with it.
so I was uptight. I you name it,
Were you?
oh my God.
So you were a fucking prick and probably type A.
Oh, I'm still type A. I'm
Okay.
still the career I have, it's like I'm around those type people that you have to be type A as an air traffic controller.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast, and
Hmm.
which contradicts everything about what I do on the other side of it, with the mediumship. It's like you could not be I'm sure you could be more polar opposites,
I
but I
know,
mean
seriously. What do you think
it's
about that?
I say I need that in my life because I can't be all, fluffy, feely unicorn farts 24/7. I need something to be pissed about. So it's like I can go to work and be agitated and be upset about things and yell and do all that and then come back here. And it's like it balances out everything.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I just haven't seen that side of you. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Ask if I could bring up somebody that I was in the Air Force with. Oh, yeah. You'd be like, no way. Yeah. Oh yeah.
your poor wife. She's married to a bipolar
Oh
man.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing
Yes,
when
yes.
I say that.
No,
Okay, good.
but yeah. So yeah, I
Oh
still
my
say I'm a
God. I'm
professional.
surprised. How did you ever get spiritual? So
Um,
you called
so
John Edwards.
yeah, and again, through that time, we read books about mediumship. So it was like always a fascination, but it was nothing I was ever like, "Ooh, I want to do that." Although I got to say, there
Whoa.
is one point somewhere along that line that I do remember. John Edward had this 6 CD set of like spiritual development or mediumship development, whatever it was. I remember I got to disc 5 and he started talking about being over emotional because he's saying like if you want to do this work, you kind of got to like get in touch with your feelings and you may start to cry. And I was like, I threw the CDs away. I'm like, that is not me.
You
Sorry.
threw him away.
I was like, that no. If I got to be sensitive, you got the wrong person.
Do you have children, Michael?
I do.
Okay.
I have a daughter that's just like me. She's a nurse.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
my God.
she's spitting image.
You seriously threw them away because you couldn't get emotional?
I was like, you got to think where I was at that point in my life. I was still in the military.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I was like, no, bye. I guess I'm not a medium. Um,
Oh God. I have never heard anybody have this kind of a story.
welcome to my world.
Oh man. I think I need a cocktail, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
we should have had one while we're doing this, but anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my gosh.
so yeah, all that
Oh,
fun
Michael.
stuff. But it was after Jackie's passing. This is the first. This was crazy. So I get up to go to work one morning, and I'm up 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm by myself. And it felt like somebody walked in the room. So I turned around, there was nobody there. I was like, what was that? I go back to doing what I'm doing, and I feel this sensation again, like somebody's in the room with me. And I look, nobody's there. This time, though, I saw my sister in my mind standing behind me, and I was like, what in the hell is going on now? I was like,
heebie-jeebies.
Well, so at the same time I'm feeling the energy, I see her walk up behind me, and she puts her arms around me, and she puts her head on my shoulder.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, I'm like, I know I wasn't thinking about her right now. What is happening? And I don't know, it didn't last that long. Maybe it was less than a minute. And then it just kind of like either I shook it off, but it kind of dissipated. And I was like, what the freaking hell just happened?
But you recognize that it was your sister visiting you.
I do now. I do. I didn't at the moment. At the moment, I was like, I had no idea what was happening right then and there.
Were you just thinking you were imagining that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll advance it really quick, because what happened next, her murder was unsolved for almost 5 months. And I remember I was working out one day, and I was watching YouTube, and I found this medium that was channeling this woman's son. And I saw the website, and I went there and saw that they had psychics that would work on cases. I remember reaching out. I was like, okay, we're going to try anything at this point. And I reached out and I said, is there anybody that could point me in the direction of somebody that could work with me? And 2 ladies reached out to me, and we started working together. They didn't even ask for anything. They didn't ask for anything for themselves. They're just like, they started just helping me.
They wanted to be of service.
Yeah. And so I got to know them pretty well over the next, few weeks or, to a month. And I remember I had not talked about this experience with anybody to this point. And I remember talking with Linda, and I asked her one day, I was like, I had this experience and I don't know what happened. I didn't give her details, and she validated what had happened. I was like, okay, so that was real.
Okay. Were you blown away when you gave her no information and she's telling you things?
She told me that your sister wants you to know that was real. I'm like, okay, that's okay. We're here. Okay. I was like, okay.
And you accepted it.
Yeah.
You didn't question. Okay, good.
No. So even weirder than that, it was probably a month or so, maybe later. I was talking with Linda again. We're just on a Skype call. As we're talking, I hear this voice in my head said, tell her it's Jim. And I was like,
tell her what?
Tell her it's Jim.
It's Jim.
And I was like,
no, I'm not doing that.
Kept talking. I didn't know what, I was like, where did that random thought come from? So I hear it again. I was like, what the hell? Third time, it's like, I hear Jim and cancer. And I was like, what the? I was like, Linda, I said, I don't know what the hell's happening. I have this thought in my mind. I keep hearing it. Third time. Tell her it's Jim and I passed the cancer. She's like, that's my dad.
Oh, God.
I was like,
I have so many chills over here.
I was like, what? She goes, that's my father. I'm like, what do you mean that's your father?
Your first channeling, Michael.
She goes, you're a medium. And I was like, the fuck I am.
Hey guys, if I get banned, it's Michael's fault.
Oh, Kelly knows.
I'm just teasing. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen.
We've tested those waters before on the show. So yeah. So we had this playful argument for a while, and it was probably later on, a couple, I don't know, weeks later, she's like, humor me, take this class. And she introduced me to my very first teacher, who we became really good friends. And it was a basic intuition development class.
Okay.
I was like, okay. Again, I go into this with, I'm not like, I'm a medium. I want to be a medium. No, it was just like, okay, I'll do this. I'll humor Linda. So every week was a new Claire, so the first week.
Oh, okay, nice.
Clairvoyance. Okay. Mm-hmm. I got to say at this point, my interpretation of a medium was somebody that physically saw a spirit, physically heard them. That was, I had no idea. All those books I read, I don't remember ever once reading about how it actually works. So this first class, we're going through this clairvoyance exercise. And it was as simple as picture a rose in your mind. I'm like, okay, there's a rose. She goes, there's clairvoyance. That's how spirit implants visions in your mind. And I was like, really?
Mm-hmm.
And it just was like the lights start flickering. I'm like, whoa, okay. And then the same thing for clairaudience. I'm like, so it's your own voice, but it's spirit. And I was like, again, I'm like, I start looking back at things and I'm like, so that's why that used to happen. Or I was like, okay, a lot of stuff started making sense. And then I took another class with her. And she's like, you need to take this advanced class with me. I'm like, okay.
Advanced? You went from beginning to advanced?
Yeah, it was just the way I didn't understand. I was like, okay,
I'll do it.
So that class was all about making connections. She would bring in a sitter and we would read. So the very first one, again, I had never sat down and actually read for somebody. And I remember it was a split screen. So like she was on the left, I was in the middle, and the client was on the right. I'm just like, all right, let's see what happens. So I just start talking about what I'm experiencing.
Michael, you're funny. You really are. You're just kind of going down the river of life wherever it takes you. You know, here's some rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I roll. But I can remember like doing this reading and I can see Mimi off to the left and I see the expressions on her face. Like she's just looking like, what the? Again, I've never read for anybody before. And even the client after we're done, she's like, can I pay you for this? I'm like, why? Was it good? She's like, I've been dealing with mediums for 11 years. And like, how long you been doing this? I'm like, oh, about 6 weeks. She's like, what?
Oh my gosh.
So I don't want to sound like that was like I was a natural from the beginning. Yes, the possibilities were there. Maybe it was a natural part of who I am. It took development. I don't want to say like, yep, I was good to go from the start, because I wasn't. It was raw, unfiltered. It was just like, here we go.
And you told people what you received.
I just went with it. If I saw, I always make this, I got to get a t-shirt with this on there. I literally say, if I see a pig riding a pony, I'm going to say, I see a pig riding a pony.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Because it's not my message. I'm not meant to understand it. It's from spirit to the client.
Sitter. Now, was your mentor, was she realizing that you were spot on, or why was she making faces?
Because she was like, this is his first reading. I don't believe what's happening kind of look.
Oh, she's amazed.
Yeah.
She's amazed.
And I'm like, okay. To me, it was like, I didn't know left from right with this. So I'm like, I'm just rolling with it. So I'll talk a little bit more because this is how I got out there. Okay. I eventually, kind of surrendered, if you will, and said, all right, let's see what this is about. So after that month-long class with her, she's like, I want you to work on this project with me. I'm like, Mimi, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. She's like, just work with me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. God, you're the what do you call those students that you're so resistant, but you'll do it, but you're still resistant?
I'm still that way with this work.
Are you really?
Yes.
Even after all these years?
I'm a skeptic. I'm everything, but I'd still do it.
You're okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's the type A personality that comes in and like
your previous life.
It's hard to let go of that. So really quick, she used to do these things where she would interview celebrities that are past, but the way she did it was not like anything I ever saw. She, about a week ahead of time, she would send me a list of people. Now, she was French Canadian, okay? So some of the people, I had no idea who these people were. Edith Piaf, I cannot remember. She was a French actor back in the 20s. So she's like, we're going to interview her. So we did it. And then she would research what I said. And she's like, she found all the validations. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh,
But we
wow.
used to do, I remember we did David Bowie, we did Muhammad Ali, we did Prince, we did Freddie Mercury. I mean, all these people, again, I knew they were public. I didn't know anything about their private lives. And we would
Sure.
reverse. I would interview and she would channel some of these people. But
Well, this
anyway,
would
we
be
would do
fascinating.
it was. And again, we would do the research later and we would find these things that weren't in the public. Like this wasn't public knowledge. You had to dig for some of the evidence
That's
that was
good.
coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always joke about this, but I don't remember her telling me she had a YouTube channel, or she did, and I just didn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I had people reaching out because at that time I think I only had a Facebook page, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Where can we book a reading with you?" And I'm like, "Who are you, and what are you talking about?" And she's like, I get the comments like, "Well, I saw your YouTube video." I'm like, "I'm not on
Oh,
YouTube."
you didn't realize you were on social media when she was doing it?
Again, I don't remember if she told me and I just forgot.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure she probably told me.
she probably did. Yeah.
So literally people from like Australia, Europe, I'm like, who are you people? So I didn't have a choice about getting out there. It was just like, I'm out there already somehow.
Oh, Michael.
So yeah,
Oh my
one thing
gosh.
led to another. And, I eventually started doing readings and a website and just, so that's kind of like a long, short story of just how this train wreck started.
Well, so from the point where your sister came up behind you
Yeah.
until you fully embraced it and you felt confident and you knew that there was a connection and something was going on. About how long was that? A few
Few
months?
months.
Few
And
months.
remember before we came on today, I was talking about how I did that demonstration,
Mm-hmm.
right? That
Mm-hmm.
was literally probably 3 months after I had my first class with Mamie. And
Wow.
I was in a crystal shop. And we knew the people that worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And the manager asked, she's like, "Would you do a mediumship demonstration here?" I was like, "Okay." And I was like, I didn't even
I don't
think
know
about
what
it. I'm
I'm
like,
doing, but
"Okay."
I'll do it.
And then it sunk in what the heck I just got myself into, about on the drive home. I was like, what the hell did I just do? So anyway, um,
And I can imagine you going home and telling your wife all this stuff. And she's
oh,
going,
she was with me. She was
"Oh, she's with
encouraging.
you?
She's like, just do it. Just do it. I'm like,
Oh,
I don't
good
know what
for
the hell.
her."
I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to alleviate me being an ass in front of how many people would show up, we did it for charity. We said all the proceeds were going to be for an animal shelter.
Good for you.
So I expected because it's a small shop, it was only supposed to be 15 people. I
Uh-oh.
show up, this is like months later, we schedule this. So I had 2 months to sit and think about what I just got myself into.
And there's no way you prep. You don't prep.
Oh, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So 40 people show up. I'm like, oh my God.
And you're the only one. You're the only
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Not even sharing the spotlight. Oh my gosh.
and I told everybody, I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen. We're just going to roll with it. And, if anything, the animals are getting some, support, so if I suck, it's still a positive thing because people,
Did you tell the audience that?
oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
You were
I was
not
like,
full of yourself. You were not making false promises.
oh God, no. I was like, I literally was like, I have absolutely no idea what's about to happen tonight. Whether something happens or not, we don't know. Let's find out together.
I applaud you. Your honesty is really great. You're not putting on airs or anything.
Oh
I think
God, no.
well, no, it's really good, Yeah.
So I'll say this because I remember before that event when I did these practice readings, I would literally just ask the client or the sitter, who do you want to hear from? I didn't know any other way. I was like, who do you want to hear from? They'd be like, Grandpa. Okay, well, here's Grandpa. So that's another story I'll add on after this.
How have you changed that now when you meet with people?
I really haven't. I still do that the same way. I'll usually ask them, who do you want to hear from? And I just want the relationship. I don't want any details, but like if somebody's wanting to hear from their mom, why wouldn't their mom be there? So I'll be like, okay, you want to hear from mom? I trust spirit. I trust they're there. Let's just go,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't until I did that demonstration that I didn't understand how spirit-led readings work. Like you just become aware of whoever's there.
Yes.
So in that, again, I'm 20 minutes into this mediumship demonstration, and I'm trying to do my old way of, and I'm like waiting for people to show. I didn't know. So 20 minutes, I'm like struggling. Finally, I feel somebody step forward, and I kind of like felt the gears start to work, and it actually went all right after that. But again, with my readings, it was just all about trial and error. What works for me, and I just kind of roll with it, and I still do to this day. I'm like,
well, if someone books with you now, what can they expect?
Expectations. I always say, and you'll hear this from any medium, come with an open mind. But I will say that if you're there to hear from your mother's going to be there. She might not come in first, right? But your mom's going to be there. Why wouldn't she be? That's my mindset with this. I'm like, it's bold, it's daring. I understand that, because, and I'll never say that, it's 100% sure that it's going to happen. And it's at no fault of the spirit. It's no fault of the sitter. If anything goes afoul, it's on me. I'm in my head. I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Something's fouling up the communication. Mm-hmm. So anything that happens, good or bad, it's the medium, period, dot. So, I always say that if you want to hear from a certain person, that's who I'm going to connect with. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give it my best, and we're going to just see what happens, But again, it's not up to me. It's up to them. I leave it up to them about the messages, what they want to say. That's them. I'm just the tool.
The conduit. The conduit. Mm-hmm.
I just call myself a tool because I'm a tool. But
I can tell you're ex-military.
Oh God. Mm-hmm. I've had to clean up my language a lot. So, but yeah, so I joke around a lot, I know, but I get so, when I'm doing a reading, it's almost like John Edward is very like to the point, takes control of the reading, very focused. That's me. And sometimes I got to just tell people ahead of time, look, I get very passionate about this. I get so fixated on what Spirit's doing that I'll ask people, it's like, just give me a yes or no. Because if they start talking, sometimes I'm like, oh, stop. Stop. Mm-hmm. So again, it's not to be rude, but again, I'm giving them their voice. So anything that gets in my way, maybe it's my ADD. I'm just like, stop. I'm listening to them.
Yeah, you don't want people to give you information.
Oh, nothing.
You just want an affirmation, or no, that's not quite right, or I don't understand that right now, or something. Yep. Yeah.
Exactly. So, so passionate would be a good word to say. I get very focused and very just, emboldened, if you will, when I'm doing the readings. Because again, I want to give Spirit a voice. That's my job. Mm-hmm. And when things get in my way, distractions, I don't want to say I get irritated, but anything that can distract me, it does. It kind of like, and I just get this way about me that, again, it's not being rude. I'm just so hyper focused.
And I think it disrupts the flow.
Yeah, it can.
It can disrupt the flow. And so now that you know your abilities, have mm-hmm. more of your spiritual family stepped in and given you signs too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I work with my guides. Not as much as probably people would think, or that most people do, because I'm not a needy person. I understand that they're here to guide us. They're not here to do things for us. So I don't really call on them. I do after like a reading. And this is something I recently learned later. I'm in a class right now. Even though I've been doing this 10 years, I'm all about development and learning and pushing myself. I always want to push myself to be better than I was today. And
good for you.
This is a recent revelation in my mind, is like calling the Spirit back after a session and go, well, how did I screw this up? What should I have done better? And it's like, I actually remember doing this a little bit in the past, but didn't think about it. But now it's like, it's actually something I practice. And it's literally like after the session, I won't call a client back and say, hey, there's more. It's between me and like the person I was communicating with. Okay, now that it's just you and I, what could I have done better? And it's interesting, the feedback I get from that spirit person saying, just freaking relax. Just talk about, again, it's just that reminder.
Oh, I love that, Michael. I do. I really love that.
Yep.
I'm going to keep that in mind when I practice too.
Yeah.
I really like that. And you're not being hard on yourself. The other one is very harsh.
Oh,
You were
I'm hard on
fighting,
myself. There's
you
the
were,
balance there too, because I can be a real, oh my God. I've lightened up on that, but I can be really like anybody, I can be really hard on myself. Really hard.
well, and you just rephrased it. And now you're learning more too.
Yeah.
So, this actually was my question for you. What are you working on in your own development right now?
So right now, again, I'm never satisfied about where I'm at. I
Mm-hmm.
don't ever want to be on a plateau and go, I'm good enough, and so I took this, it was a class with a medium over in the UK, Hannah McIntyre, who I've followed on and off for the last couple of years, but something just clicked. I was like, I like her perspective. We share a lot of the same ideas and thoughts about mediumship.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, I need somebody to kick my ass. I want somebody to like to push me and not treat me with kid gloves and dig in and figure out and help me refine my work. And don't be gentle with me. If I'm doing something that can be improved, point it out to me. That's why I'm here. And she is that person, because
Did it? Good.
if she can find a way to clean, and I said, I just need to clean up. I said, there's a lot of holes in my development over the years, because a lot of it I've done on my own. And I've seen her work. I see, and I know that she won't sugarcoat, and that's kind of what I need.
What is
And
her
she
name? Michael Hannah who?
McIntyre. Yep, medium Hannah
I
McIntyre.
wanna check her out and see what she's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started a 6-month private mentoring with her that just started last month, but prior to that it was like a 4-week class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she's the person that is right now is just like really kicking my butt with this, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anywhere that I can be pushed, and again, it's just the whole premise of it is that surrender, keep surrendering, and again, it's focusing on just whatever they give you, talk about it. Don't hesitate, bring it up, talk about it. It's
Don't
just,
question it.
no. So, I mean, there's more to it. I mean, there's ways, and again, it's not only with my private readings, but it's with the group readings as well. Again, it's just, I want somebody who has that type of experience give me feedback when I do my readings.
Well, and also I really like the idea that you're asking your guides, how that went and everything too.
Yep. And luckily they speak my language, because I'm literally like, how did I F this up? What the hell was that about? And I got to say this was a profound thing for me during this group demonstration I just did.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me and Jess, and
Mm-hmm.
she had just read for this young woman in the front row. And I remember, because I'm over on the other side, just kind of in my own world, but I remember hearing this girl talk about she had lost 2 people, but the one Jess was talking with was one incident of how she passed. And she mentioned a car accident. Again, that went in one ear and out the other.
Mm-hmm.
So when it became my turn, I had asked somebody in the back row or over on the side, I said, who would you want to hear from? And the woman said, my son. So I feel this energy walk in. Right away, I feel male, 19, passes in car accident, valedictorian of the class, into sports, right? And she's like, sorry, that's not mine, not my son. I said, okay, does this make sense to anybody else?
Anybody else? Yeah.
And the girl that Jess had just read raises her hand. She goes, I can take everything, but it wasn't male. It was my friend, my female friend.
Oh.
So I said, wait, you can take everything. I said, okay. I said, I'm going to go with that. I said, usually I will not, but something about this feels like this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm going forward, she's validating literally everything that's coming through, everything. I said, I went through it, like valedictorian, yes, sports, yes. And then there was other details that came through. What threw me, though, is why did this present as a male? Because that has never happened. The years I've been doing this, it's always been my process. I know it's a male. I know it's a female.
Right.
So I get home, and I'm like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah.
I asked my guide. I was like, why did that happen? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. They go, you already knew about her friend that died in a car accident. If she would have came through in that way, you would have been in your head and you would have cut off the communication because you would think, I'm making this up. I already know too much. So they came through as a male to get you to say everything else and get out of your head. And I was like, holy shit. Wow.
Well, they're slapping you and teaching you on the way, aren't they?
Yep. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, because they were exactly right. If I would have, if she would have immediately said, that's my friend, I would have been like, well, I must have heard Jess. But Jess
Yes.
didn't mention any of that. It was just all on its own. But the
Mm-hmm.
male female thing was the only thing that was backwards. And they gave me the reason why that happened. I was like, whoa. And I couldn't argue with them because I would have absolutely been in my head about that if I would have thought, yep, that's her other friend. So it came through as a male, and all the other evidence I thought was with this guy
Mm-hmm.
attached to that
Mm-hmm.
woman, but it wasn't. It was for her. I was like, whoa.
Oh, Michael, you're fascinating. You really are. And I've seen you, on your channel and all this other stuff, and um, you're just really chill and serene. I didn't know you had all this underneath bubbling up.
It's there.
Well, it's a fun part too. Yeah. Now, did we get to mention everything that you wanted to chat about?
Oh
About
yeah, I really I don't come on with, there's nothing. I just kind of go with it. So as long as, if you have any other questions, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, there's so much. I mean, anytime I have an opportunity to talk about mediumship, I could probably talk for hours about just experiences and what maybe some, maybe some points for people that are just developing, you know, that's probably one. I'll say that while I have the opportunity really quick, because people want to ask, how do I develop? What do I need to do? I'm like, I'll tell you right now, first thing you need to do is just be you. Don't try to emulate your teachers. Don't try to emulate other mediums. Learn right from the beginning. Do not try to compare yourself to others because that can derail you. It's derailed me. You look at other people and go, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not like them, so I probably have no business doing this. If I could save you like years and years of not going through that,
Then let's do that. Yeah.
be yourself, practice, get out there, start doing the work, do the classes if you need to, but you're never going to learn without doing it. You can take class after class after class, but unless you get out there and you're never going to feel ready, I still get nervous to the point where I'm always throwing up before reading. It's the way it is, but you can't let that stop you. You just got to keep doing it. If this
Does
is
that
something
happen to you still, that you get physically ill?
I get, like anxiety, like there's no business.
Mm-hmm.
It's still, and I've learned to kind of reel it in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a nervous wreck before anything I do.
Oh, really?
Oh God, yeah.
Huh.
Yep. It's just the way it is. I've accepted it. It's like, to me, it's a good thing because it's still, to me, it just shows that I'm doing it still for the right reason. And if I'm ever calm, that's when I think that's when I'll need to worry about it.
Yeah, I think that's your makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's such good advice that you just gave everybody, because I know myself when I've taken classes, I've tried to be like that teacher,
Mhm.
and it doesn't always work.
Take
It
the
doesn't
tools.
always work.
Yep. Take the tools that they give you,
Hmm.
but you gotta develop your own, and you gotta understand how you work as a medium, how you receive. Everybody's going to be different. Your teachers are going to be different from you, and that's where you cannot. The importance of getting out there and just practicing with friends or anybody that you can grab to sit for you until you get those validations. That's when you're going to know it's real. Once you start to get things that click with other people that make sense, that's going to keep your momentum going. And it's never going to be linear. You're never going to be on that path of here I am now and it's going to go here. No, your path's going to do this.
I want to interject a little story, and I usually don't talk about myself, but I have a friend, and we started doing that. We would just meet once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and we would sit and read for each other. And she was always comparing herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she has just blossomed and taken off,
Mm-hmm.
and she's feeling confident. And it just started just with us doing that together. It
Yeah.
was really nice. So that's also really, really good advice too.
And you got to practice with different people because
Right.
after a while, yeah, you got to get that new energy. You got to experience the sitters that are skeptics. You gotta read for people that sit there the whole time like this and just stare at you like you're full of crap. There's all lessons in that. It's taken me years to understand that, but those people are there to help you because you gotta go through this. It's never an easy journey, no matter how long you've been doing it. I mean, I always ask, what's the worst that could happen? Well, it's happened. I've done a public demonstration where it's crickets and people aren't clicking with things. I'm like, all right,
Oh,
well, I'm giving
wow.
a
That's
refund
hard.
then. You give a
That's
refund.
hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
But it teaches you. It's like, my sister will come through and it's like, is that going to stop you? And it's like, no,
Yeah.
good.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm sorry about the tragic way she died and your other family members too. Those are rough losses. So
Yeah, it was
really
yeah,
rough losses. Yeah.
crazy stuff for sure.
And thank God you're still here.
Some
You're
people would argue that. Some people are like, Stan, why did you give McKindy? God, now we got to keep putting up with this guy.
Oh, Michael, you're great. I want to talk to you after the show about a couple things.
Yeah.
Before we go, my husband always gives me a little message, and I got one before we started today. So this is my love from Bono today. And Bono, I always get these before,
Mm-hmm.
and they always seem to tie in with the show. And it does tie in with you, Michael. I got to start using a pen because I can't read my own writing. Well, I jotted, there we go. I jotted down really quickly. Always move yourself forward, no matter how small the steps, no matter how, gosh, I can read, really, I can, no matter how small the steps are, even if it's one step forward and two step back. Have trust in yourself and your progress. You will be proud of yourself and your advancements. So,
Wow. If spirit doesn't freaking just validate everything we've just talked about.
I know
So props to your husband. Holy crap, does that wow.
I
Yes.
get I almost cussed really badly. I almost did. I caught myself. I know. I get so amazed because he'll tell me at the beginning of the show, I don't know how the show's going to go or the flavor, and he always ties it in. So
Now,
kudos to Bono. Yeah.
by your last name, I know Italian, right?
Well, not me, him.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm Italian too. So it's like I feel his energy and I can feel, did he have a mouth on him too?
No,
No?
no. And I think it's because his father died at a really young age and his mom took care of him. And no, I'm the one with the mouth.
Okay, you're the one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one with the mouth. He he was Michael 6'3" and a gentle giant. He was
Okay.
just I forgot. I always show his picture and I forgot to bring his photo in here.
Oh.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it down here. Well, I have a real handsome one of him. Oh darn it, Karen! I'm usually prepared. Where's my husband? I'm sorry.
No, you can show me later.
Yeah. Well, and the audience has seen him, but I have a live event today, so I got to make sure I go get his picture.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's all right, Michael. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to get to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me again. Talking to you again. This was great. We'll
Oh, it's
definitely have to
great.
do this again.
That's what I want to talk to you about. Seriously, yeah. You're like this quiet guy, but you got all this stuff simmering underneath the
It's weird because when I'm like just daily life, I'm just quiet, keep to myself. But you get me talking about mediumship and spirit, I'm like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yes.